know, take a while for it to go, but once I go live, there. You never know. It just turned on. Yeah. Yeah. So now they'll be able to hear you.
Oh, you gotta watch out. You gotta watch them. I'll tell you now.
Don't do me.
Did y'all turn it?
No, they were on.
No, they were on, but I wasn't live. I wasn't live yet, but now I am.
Well,
You're good right now. You're good.
tell me something I don't know.
My grandma's yard again. It's down further than this, man.
What's the address?
713 Plum Road.
What's that?
Another one, man. My grandma's history.
Oh, alright. I'll put it on the list.
I think my dad called Robert, but I know he gets it.
So,
What is happening down there? Like, this is a lot of them popping up.
all over the place, old infrastructure.
Old stuff.
All the stuff, and you have that drive, that real drive, so everything's settled, and now,
All this rain coming in, so it's kind of in and out, so just expanding and this, that, the other.
I don't know.
You're in the wrong chair, Regina.
In the wrong chair, Gina. That's why I got confused. I thought you were over there. No, he's got school board meeting. Kind of windy.
Everything I can. Now we have to
You said, I don't even think about that.
So when the main chair wants to keep it, whenever they start the meeting, and then
This our guy, this guy with me, I stay back.
We got an update, so. Get a Google Earth or pull up from the board.
You went out on Elkhead? Or Google Earth? Oh, it's already there. over there now? Okay. No.
No, we got,
Yeah, 5 people, we're good to go.
good quorum.
Yeah, we got a quorum.
I don't count.
No, you got 4 out of 7, so you're good.
Call it to order. It's, Willie Carter's right here. I'm here. Cynthia Karavic is here. Marilyn's not. Ivan's here. Alyssa's here. Maria's not. Let's see, we have Julius and Roger and Scott and Alice. Scott, will you lead us on an invitation?
Sure. Stand with you. Father, we come to you tonight and we just thank you for this day. And Father, we just ask for your protection today as we have the storms blowing through today, and just watch over us and protect us, Father. Just do this tonight as we continue to look into the city's business and just make sure that we're making the right decisions that you have for us to make, Father. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Title 5,
Pledge allegiance to the
Flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas
Flag.
flag.
Pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
If we have no public comments. Okay, so discussion and possible consideration on the following. We need to approve the minutes from 2023 from May 8th, August 14th, and November the 20th. Did everybody get them and had a chance to review them? Are there any questions on them? Do we have a motion to approve?
make a motion to approve this.
We have a second, Cynthia, all in favor? Approved unanimously. Skate park, do we have an update on skate park?
Yes, ma'am. Now forward.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Come on, Andy.
You know what?
Oh, that's an old picture. That's all right. I don't
That's
worry.
Google Earth too.
Right there.
Okay. That'll work. Do we have pointer?
Sure.
Sure somewhere.
I'll point.
Okay, so
I'm limited.
just an update on the park. We, if you remember, Johnny Gusa has been working with this. Johnny Gusa is with the skate park, or the Cleveland Skate Coalition is their group name. And they've been working on and to try to develop a skate park. And so I'm gonna walk over here and show. We'll see how this will work.
I'll follow you.
So currently, we have designated this area right here in Campbell Park as the skate park location, okay? And then they've been raising funds to do that. The city, during the budget process, and you've got a thing on the budget in front of you, and so the city has agreed to, we budgeted $10,000 to purchase amenities so we can get something in this park, okay? And then we also budgeted $25,000 for matching funds. So that as the coalition raises funds, we can match it to be able to do something. And what our hope was,
I found it.
There you go. And so the idea was, and the intention was, is that we'll put something out there for now with $10,000 to get some kind of ramp, some kind of features out there. And then as they raise funds, then maybe we can take their $25,000 and maybe the city's $25,000, and then maybe even go after some kind of a matching fund for a grant or something. And so after that was approved, Mr. Busa has been able to find some, I say used ramps. These ramps were purchased by a city in the Austin area. The city never used the ramp. So they bought basically a skate park, probably $250,000 to $300,000 worth of ramps to make this park. While they were in the process of purchasing it, they decided they didn't want that. They wanted a nicer concrete park, skate park. So they ended up putting in a nice concrete skate park complex. And so these ramps were never used. This company that we've been working with, that Johnny found, is trying to sell the skateboard. They purchased it from the city and they've been trying to resell the park ever since. And so what we ended up doing is we took our $10,000 that we had allocated for amenities, and then they have raised to date, I want to say $1,500, $2,000. They roughly have raised for the coalition. So then we took that money and matched it and purchased what we call the first half of the ramps, which is basically all of the ramps for the skate park except for a half pipe. And the half pipe is the big half of the big things that you see that are kind of on both sides. And so that's the only piece that we have not purchased at this time. And so all the other ramps were $12,600, and then you got the half pipe that's $12,600. And so we purchased that. The Public Works guys, we went up and inspected it, made sure everything was good before we purchased it. We did. They went back up there and got trailers and loaded it and hauled it all back. So we have all the ramps set in half pipe here at this time. Then Johnny has gone to the EDC and requested them to contribute to the skate park. And so EDC has agreed that they will contribute the $12,600 to go ahead and get the last remaining piece of the skate park, which is the half pipe. Well, now where our situation is now, so January 16th, next week, the EDC board has approved the purchase of the half pipe, but now we've got to do a budget amendment with the council. So on the agenda for next week, the council will be considering amending the EDC budget and using funds that have not been allocated to purchase the remaining ramp. Okay, and so that way we'll have everything here. Now, the next dilemma is the fact that to do this entire skate park, it's going to require about 5,000 square feet of space. And so going back to our initial, let's make something for the kids to do in this location is not going to be large enough. And then, now that we know that we need 5,000 square feet, if we expand this area, which we have plenty of room, but if you expand it, if you go too far this way, now you're getting into the playground, which in reality you want to kind of keep some separation between the playground and the skate park. These are primarily 5 to 12-year-olds, some of them, even 2 to 5, in the playground, where their skate park is primarily middle school and high school kids. And so you want some separation between those two as possible. So you don't want to carry this all the way over. And then you only have so much room before you get here. So we looked at maybe demoing this building that's currently here and creating like a retaining wall or an area where they can kind of control this noise and kind of create some separation between the development down here as well. During this whole process, now that we learned that we have 5,000 square feet, realizing this is probably not the best location for a full-blown park, we've talked to Johnny Busa and the coalition about 2 options. The first option is, now that we've got all this equipment, would you prefer to have one skate park or maybe divide it up into 2 skate spots and divide it and have two different locations, where maybe you have a skate spot here, and maybe another skate spot possibly at like Old City Park, or the City Park, Bissell Park, or even San Juan. Talking with them, they really want to see one skate park, because this is a regional draw, whereas if you made it into two separate parks, basically it would just be a local draw for your local kids. Keeping it here as one park is two benefits. One, because it's a park, it's it has a half park, it has all these other amenities, it's really going to be a regional draw. So you would bring people in from all over to be able to skate this park, because it's going to be different than the other parks in the area. And so you'd have people coming in and do day trips. Plus you can have tournaments, skate park tournaments, to raise funds and so forth, and maybe create skate spots other places, but you would have this be a regional draw. Plus people come in, they're not going to just come skate the park and leave, they're going to be here all day, and they'll probably, go to our restaurants, get food, go to Jack in the Box, Subway, whatever, to have lunch, and then just spend the whole day here. And because of the location, the primary reason they chose Campbell Park is because of this proximity to the middle school and the high school, which again is the primary users of a skate park. Is going to be that age group, that middle school and high school age group. So this is for our local kids, easy access, good access for our kids to this park. And then also, because of keeping it as a park, it provides the opportunity where we'll bring regional people here to provide that. So, but the dilemma is, this is really not big enough for that. So what we've looked at is this area right here as creating probably a 40 by 90, 50 by 100, something like that, 45 to 5,000 square foot a skate park. And so we would have a separation, is what the idea is, to have like a little sidewalk coming from the edge of this pavilion over probably 4 or 5 feet, and then creating like putting some river rock or something in there, kind of create some landscaping features, but also some separation between the skate park and the pavilion. Also to kind of control skate parks from flying into the pavilion. They hit that river rock, it's going to stop. And so that provides some safety technique as well. Provides an area for the skate park users to have a sit in the shade. But it also continues to, this, as you know, the swimming pool has been converted to a splash pad, so the pavilion will continue to service both the skate park and the splash pad at this point. It also provides that separation so that you're dividing the skate park from the splash pad. It's also easy access to the parking lot, plenty of parking in this location, easy access by the sidewalk to the area. And so what we're thinking at this point is that we will continue to utilize this area, which has been designated as a skate park at the time being. We might be able to put a few of the ramps that we purchased out there for right now until we can come up with the additional $40,000 what we're estimating for putting this slab in. And so hopefully that could be, the EDC did mention that they want to go ahead and buy the ramps and do that now and to work on this, so they may be willing to do some additional funding on the project to help support this. But this also allows the coalition to continue to raise funds. And then, of course, the city has the matching funds. But until we can raise the funding, the $40,000 needed to build this, we can utilize this. And our idea is that once the funding gets available, we'll build the $40,000 pad, move all the features over here, create the skate park, and then we will do away with this area as a designated skate park and then just move it over to this area. And so that's kind of what we wanted to bring tonight, is an update for y'all, but then also kind of get some guidance and direction for y'all. And if y'all agree with kind of that plan to utilize this area and recommend moving it over here, once we get the funding to do that, then we'd like to have that as a recommendation that we can maybe take to council for council to consider as well. Again, I think we've got some time, but the good news is that we are on the process of getting this whole park. It's a nice development, a skate park facility, but we're not quite there. And I think once we have all the ramps here and the designated area, it's also gonna help them raise funds, because now all the ramps are purchased, everything is here, we just need some concrete, so maybe, they can work with local concrete company to maybe donate or give us at cost the concrete, maybe we can work with a contractor to maybe provide some labor, to help maybe frame it and pour the concrete, and there's things that we can do, now that we know that this is the location, and all we really need is the slabs, we've already got all the other ramps, and, we're looking at, if with $40,000, we're looking at, possibly around $65,000 to $70,000 total cost for us to get this park. And again, the original cost of the ramps is probably somewhere around $250,000 to $300,000. So we really have looked out and been able to find this opportunity for us. So.
I have a question for you, Scott.
Okay.
I know in the beginning, John mentioned something about the Tony Hawk helping them out, providing grants and stuff. Has he provided an update or anything, whether they've reached out to them or not?
I think they've reached out to them, but they haven't applied for anything at this point. He has talked to numerous skate retail shops. They have mentioned to him that they want to sponsor, they want to contribute to having like tournaments and fundraisers to help try to build the park, and they support it. And so, but as far as foundations, he has not. We also were made with, I think, of HGAC. We called into that, so we provided that to them, and maybe something they consider applying for as well.
Location, like I'm trying to, think of my days going to the pool. And that's, so you have that spot, okay, where the people, like the families used to be able to go sit. All right, you saying keep that, right?
Correct, we're gonna keep this pavilion.
Okay, so I got to turn now. Okay.
Right, so the pavilion's right here.
West side,
West side.
west side.
And so what we would do is put a sidewalk off of this, like 4 to 5 feet, and then that 5 feet gap between where the pavilion ends and that, we'll put the river rock. So it'll be a landscape feature, low maintenance, but also create that separation between the pavilion. Because you don't want the kids just skateboarding on the skate park into the pavilion. You want to keep that separation. But then you also, because that pavilion currently services the splash pad that was replaced with the swimming pool location.
Good location, but I think we need to put a fence up.
Yeah, we might have
Around
to
the
put a
edge,
4 foot.
by the,
Splash pad.
not the splash pad, because even that river walk, if the board gets away, they can shoot over top of that rock and land on the concrete too.
We probably put a thing.
But then a retaining wall or some type of barrier that can actually stop something from really getting across. That, and if the fence is up, you ain't gotta worry about little kids, running across the river rock.
And honestly, that going up before the park stuff, that way the parents, as soon as the park stuff, the skate, the parents gonna be like, too close, but if the fence go up, anytime it's the fence, you think security.
Yeah. It's false sense of security.
Okay.
But yeah, you can put a 4-foot chain link kind of separation divider.
As soon as they see that.
So now we're at 45,000. Well, and one of the contractors that we talked to about doing the pad, we have that option that you could pour just a flat 4,500, 5,000 square foot pad that's scalable, and they mount the different ramps to it. But one of the contractors says if you're pouring it, you could also build some curves in the concrete, some different features that could be part of it. Obviously not in the middle of the pathway between the ramps, but on the side that you could build some stuff into the concrete while they're pouring it to provide some extra little features or something in there. Nothing major, just some small, instead of having just a curve, maybe have a little, ramp or whatever that they could utilize to skate and grind on or whatever, Now, the package that we bought, for example, it's a full-blown park, so there's like 4 benches. These benches are designed to be grinded on, which is basically where you have your skateboard and you kind of scratch up against it. So these benches are designed to be able to do that. It's got benches, it's got ramps, it's got rails, bars, half pipes, I mean, it's got the whole, I mean, it's, everything's included, so it's a really nice feature that we're gonna have already. So, and I don't know how many half pipes are located in this area. You know, ask Johnny, he didn't really know either, you know. You know, but that's a special feature that most places don't have. That's a big feature. So that'd be a big draw in this area, have something special like that.
You think we could hold like a little tournament, like, I mean, it's enough, everything will be there?
Yeah, that's the point of having it, one location versus two locations.
Yeah, Splash pad.
You said concrete would be what, a 90 by 40? Give or
We're
take.
thinking probably 90 by 40. I don't know if we can get a 50 in there and keep the cushion that we need all the way around there. Because you're gonna need, between the fence line here
Yeah.
and the pad, you're gonna need some cushion. You're gonna need some cushion between here and here. So I don't know that we have a full 50 foot.
How wide is that part?
Probably about,
That's what I was thinking.
That's the big, I mean, that's the big item.
You know, you may have to run it this way instead of this way.
we have to run this length,
Yeah.
north and south.
That's what I'm saying, how much space is in the.
You may have to put it over here.
You got to length of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all a piece of equipment, I'm not too sure.
But somebody, yeah, we're to look at the path and everything on it.
Well, you go,
It's pretty tall.
so what if you did,
You know what size it is? Rod, you know how tall it is?
what if you were to bring it out to here a little bit and extend out? Then you could turn the half like sideways, correct? If we extend it out this way just a little bit?
Right.
I mean, then whatever the length and stuff of it is,
I guess I would take it-
then that's kind of out of the way.
Well, yeah, we could look at this, doing this area here. Did you want it close to the pavilion so that you have opportunity for people to look at that shade? I mean, that's gonna be a big feature, is to have a place for them to sit and watch. But you could look at this area here.
Well, I'm saying keep it the same as you're saying, but maybe extend like a little further out, the half pipe and sit in that little section, so it's kind of away from the smaller stuff. Because you know, most bigger kids are gonna be on that.
Well, yeah. Well, that's one of the things that we've asked Johnny is to look at, because we've got a conceptual that we received from the company of what it was designed to be laid out as originally, and for them to kind of get back with us on how they would want to lay it out. You know, because we need to know how the best, you know, interacts. You know, we've even talked about maybe getting with the original company to find out if they could help us with the layout, you know.
You got all of that, like this.
Roger, you know how tall it was?
You got nothing for me today?
Is it 6 foot, 8 foot?
I think it's a 4 foot, height on one side, because the ramp, I think it's 4 foot.
Well, I'm
Oh,
just
it's
curious
shorter than
because
me.
if you do turn it the other way, and somebody goes up and they lose that board.
You don't hit them cars.
So I'm thinking it's 4 foot high, the half pipe is 4 foot,
Yeah.
1.5, and then it's probably about,
I'm like 50.
length of this. I think from right there where I stand to that wall, I think that's the half pipe. I think it's about
We have like a little extra piece, like they got the piece they land on.
Like,
Oh, like a backboard.
what I'll do, I'll send an email to you all, the board, and of some pictures of different sketches of it.
Okay.
I think that'd be better, so you have an idea of what does it.
So what you need from us today, Scott, is to find out if we're good with leaving the temporary one there, and then you taking the other area to the city as a potential.
Yeah, somewhere over here. We were gonna, again, I don't want to say right here. I mean, we'll have to look at the way it lays out, but somewhere in this area. And we'll just continue to utilize this area until we can figure out and get the funding, but we'll utilize this area here for the skate park.
Anybody else have any questions? So are we good with leaving the potential there, and then going to the city about possibly taking that other area over there?
make a motion,
There's a direction.
make a motion
Yeah.
to consider this area possible.
Do we have a second? All in favor?
Uh,
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is municipal park update on conditions. Is that Scott too?
No, that was your chairman,
Yeah.
Willie Carter, so, but I will tell you, since he's not here, we did put this in front of you. This was if you remember last month, we provided you a copy of the city's budget on Parks and Rec, for the park amenities. And there was an area that we talked about that was designated as, park funding. And y'all wanted kind of more of a breakdown. And so the way we had it broken down was that we budget every year $50,000 to go into like a park reserves fund that we can utilize. And this money just continues to carry over and over and over. And so of that, we have about $168,000 that's going to be carried over to this year's budget. Of course, this is unaudited, so we have to wait for the audited version to come out, which we're in the process of. But roughly it's $168,000. So roughly we have about $220,000 that we'll have this year to use. Now, we don't have to use it all this year. If we do, then we won't have the $50,000 next year. But the idea was, this is where the $25,000 for matching came from, that $50,000, as well as the $10,000 for the initial amenity for the skate park. And then, what we also listed in there that we want to make sure and do this year is to increase the funding on the walking trails for Old City Park and Sam Wiley Park. And we also wanted to replace the playground equipment at Old City Park this year. And so we are currently working with vendors to give us some prices. Looks like it's probably going to be somewhere between $120,000 and $25,000 to replace the playground at Sam Wiley Park. We're looking at putting the playground at the location of the volleyball court, the old volleyball court area, making that kind of a central area. And then we'll do away with the other little small pieces and have one common area where have a much larger complex for the playground. And so this also provides, there's several different reasons of why you want to have one area located instead of being several different pieces. One, if you've got 5 different areas, so right now I think we've got 2 or 3 different areas for swing sets. You've got a little swing, teeter-totter or whatever. You used to have a little spinner thing down there. So what ends up, if you have them all separated, then it's harder for a parent to be in one location and watch their kids if they're all separated in different areas. You also have the problem of tree limbs falling. You've got the sap falling from the trees that can then affect you fall on the playground. So that's not a good location to have it. And so we're looking at moving it into a common space, like I said, the volleyball area, but then also incorporating some kind of a shade structure or something into the playground so that you can provide the shade at that location. We are looking at Old City Park that there's a lot of trees already. And so depending on where the sun is, like if it's noon, the shade structure is going to take place. But in the mornings and the afternoons, there should be enough trees around it that should provide shade to it. We also talked about putting some park benches and stuff around it. We will look at replacing some of the park benches that are there now in the park. So they'll basically, you want to renovate everything that's out there. And so we're working on getting those quotes at this time as well. But this is kind of the breakdown. So we've got about $183,000 that we can utilize for the trails and for the playground equipment. And so, again, we don't necessarily use it all this year because then you only have $50,000 and you can't do a whole lot next year. But we haven't used those funds in quite a while, so we need to utilize some of them.
On the average, what does playground equipment cost?
I'm glad.
Well, and that's one of the things that we're talking about. On this one, we're looking at going back with the plastic 1-foot barriers, and wood fiber, the little chip mulch, the wood that's, pre-engineered wood fiber. I mean, cause you could spend $250,000 just on a fall surface. If you look at those nice pour-in-place fall surfaces, those can be several $100,000 just for the surface. You know, you put a full-blown shade structure over there that covers a full park, you can be over $100,000 for the shade structure too. So playground equipment, depending on what size, anywhere from $50,000 to, millions of dollars, depending on how big of a playground you want to go.
Well, I've got to do something big.
Yeah, we're trying to stay within that. We're looking at about $100,000. Right, right.
Question, the volleyball courts, I mean, I know you saying that the Olsen Park, was it hard? Like, I know you, before your time, the maintenance on that, was it too much?
The volleyball court?
Yeah, so what was the deal with taking them away from Sam Wild?
The volleyball,
and
it's been removed from there for
for a while?
a long time. I don't know what the issue was, but I guess it wasn't getting enough playing time, I don't know, but
I know Cody had mentioned that there's been a lot of
Yeah,
damage,
that's
that they were
been-
constantly being cut and torn and ripped and having to replace them on a regular basis.
That can help. You suggested the use of the sand pit alone, for other, training type stuff, other stuff that people could.
well, right now, it's just south of just ground, there's no volleyball in the city right now, it's just two poles that's been there for years, and the ground is grass, there's nothing in that area right now, at this present time.
Well, I was just wondering if maybe someone come over, we can get that volleyball, get it back, put one of these spots again.
So let me ask you this question, so since you're thinking of that, would you, y'all be able to look at another area where you put up? And so if you don't wanna take that away? No, I'm just,
Yeah. So, what I'm thinking is, that's good for that particular part, for sure. Getting that equipment out of there,
right,
that hole it's in, kind of bringing it up, like I said, too many trees, the trees are damaging, probably easily damaging the equipment.
but in the corner on the.
Got the basketball.
Yeah,
court,
yeah, exactly, the restroom right there, then you have the swing,
got that swing.
and this will be, where the pavilion is, this will be south of the
Yeah,
pavilion.
right there.
Right.
Oh, I'm familiar with these parks, man. I watched them play throughout these. Used to take that, go through there, go to play basketball. So yeah, very familiar with that. And as far as the volleyball, Sammy Wilder's getting back active again. A lot of people are using it. Kids are practicing football there. We were thinking volleyball, and that pops up again right there. And that equipment is separated as well. So
Right, it's on the outside of the fencing
yeah, outside
area.
the fence, and you got
Right.
some pieces on the inside, so I know strategically trying to find somewhere to put that is going to
Sam Water is more of an athletic complex,
be, yeah.
whereas Old City Park's more of a recreational, kid party.
I got a little piece of,
Exactly.
And that's what's nice, is having that pavilion right there, his parents could be able to sit in the pavilion and enjoy the pavilion and the shade and watch the kids. And it's right there in between both parking lots, so it's easy access for people to drive up.
So maybe when we do our field trip, we can look into that, see what might, Not work there. anybody have any other questions on this report? And I guess we'll move to our bylaws, section 8625.
Okay, so this is the last section of the bylaws. We've been going through each section at a time. And so the last section is 8625, which is the finance. And so basically, section A is the city hereby accepts all gifts and donations of every kind heretofore made for public recreation in the city with grateful thanks to the donor. And such gifts and donations together with such additions as may be made by the city and others from time to time shall constitute property of the city. So in other words, we're willing to accept any guest donation that somebody's willing to give to the city for recreation, and that basically that, you know, when it's given to the city, it becomes the property of the city, you know. And so, it's kind of like we're talking about with, you know, we've already, you know, partnered with the Skate Coalition to try to raise funds and take those donations for that. So I think it goes hand in hand with that. And then the section B is the Parks and Recreation Board shall have no power to obligate the city in any manner whatsoever. The Parks and Recreation Board's finances shall be handled in the same manner as those of any division of the city government. So again, the Parks and Recreation Board works with the city. We have a Parks and Recreation, we have different budgets. So we have, you know, we work with the library who has their own library budget. We work with the Civic Center who has a budget. We have the Parks Department, or Parks and Cemeteries within the Public Works Department that kind of does your ground maintenance and so forth. And so we have established budgets that we work with. And so this board is basically just a recommendation board that we make recommendations to the city council. You know, and so as those divisions, the library, the civic center, and parks, we come to y'all, we discuss issues and opportunities and challenges, try to get some direction, some guidance from y'all on decisions that we can then go to council and get final approval on.
Do we need to do anything on that?
If y'all are good with that, which that's pretty self-explanatory, I don't think we have any change. I think the only one that we really changed was the very first section that we went through, which talked about the board members and, you know, where they had to live and the terms and everything else. So I think we made those changes to it, and so we just been continuing to go through to make sure everything is still good. This is the last one, so we won't have to do that anymore.
So does the board have any comments? Any other concerns? So do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.